go to whether or not the state's there's jurisdiction against the state to
Mhm.
assert those claims. And I think she mentioned that there were some, she questioned the
These are
authenticity.
authenticity arguments. Here's the situation, folks. This is like a rocket ship. It's about to take off. Now, if we don't have all the fuel and food and everything we need in the rocket ship, we can't really put more in when it's in orbit, okay? Not easily. We just can't. So she's raising authenticity. I'm not trying to be difficult, but I'm just saying we need address our authenticity concerns because I don't want this to my court spend a ton of time on it. You all, this thing goes off. And they say, yeah, but you know what? There was an authenticity problem. So why didn't you just attach the signed one? That's where I am, Mr. Bullock. Tell me what's up with this argument.
Well, what we've attached in terms of authenticity, Your Honor, are these are certified public records. And so
Okay.
from an authenticity and admissibility standpoint,
Hmm.
they are admissible as governmental records because they've been certified as public records. And so I'm not sure I understand the how that goes towards jurisdiction.
Well, the thing is this, on the jurisdictional issue. What she's arguing is she's saying, yeah, if you do know what, we've got a standing problem, kind of a Lujan versus wildlife standing problem. And so you're saying, no, you don't, because the thing is that things have already happened that show that there is an injury or that there is standing. And what you've done is you said you've attached evidence that shows that. But now she stepped back and said, well, they might have, but they might as well have attached their grocery list because there's an authenticity concern. What I'm telling you is these are critically important issues. I don't mean to needle you, but I'm trying to make sure that we have everything you need
and
before I spend a boatload of time on this. That's
and
it.
the reason
Because
you have
when this goes up to the next court and up to the next level and possibly up to the level past that, we don't want to be arguing over an authenticity problem with the city of Lockhart. That's the
and the,
situation, Mr. Bullock. I'm not trying to be difficult with you. I'm just telling you to get real where you are right now. So
yes,
come
ma'am.
back to the authenticity and don't argue with me about what does this have to do with jurisdiction? It's everything to do with jurisdiction because they've come forward on an interlocutory appeal, plea the jurisdiction. You're saying state of Texas. No, you're wrong. There is standing, and here's the evidence to support it. She's saying, that's not authentic. That's where you find yourself right now. Explain it.
It's authentic for two reasons. Number one, as I said, because they're governmental records. And what we've
Okay.
established is that the cities, Lockhart and Aledo, have received removal petitions, which I referenced to the court, for those particular properties which are subject to development agreements that both contain annexation requirement provisions. And the reason it's right, so the authenticity is covered, is addressed by the government records certification exception. So they're authentic in that regard.
All right.
The reason it's right is because we've adduced evidence and provided to the court that the cities, Lockhart and Aledo, have received removal petitions for those properties, and that under the terms of 2038, due to the passage of time, if 2038 is operative, then those properties are already out of those cities' ETJ, meaning that, as we briefed the court, the cities can no longer annex them in the future because you must be in the ETJ to be annexed.
Yeah,
So
I
that's
understand
why
that.
it's right.
All right, so let's go back to you, Ms. Collins. So what he's saying is, look, these are public documents, so your authenticity argument's not any good.
In Your Honor, they appear to be incomplete public records. Again, the Lockhart is not signed by one of the parties, which is necessary to bind it. And again, to be a development agreement, which is what they're claiming is being impaired here, it has to be recorded. There's no evidence these have been recorded.
All right, so let's go back to Mr. Bullock. What about this not signed, not recorded thing?
Your Honor, it is correct that we don't have evidence in the record right now of these being signed or recorded. And
Why not?
because they're public, we've got certified public records that speak for themselves.
Okay, here's the situation. I am this close to sua sponte granting a continuance for you to fix this problem, Mr. Bullock. Right? I don't understand why it is that we have spent all this time and all this money, and what we've got is an unsigned document. I'm struggling with that. So tell me why I shouldn't be struggling.
Well, Your Honor, because we submitted to you, it's a public record and it's self-authenticating and the I mean that's the city has received a petition for release, which the authenticity of the petition for release as to those properties is not in dispute. And the city has received those, and then by operation of law under 2038, those properties have been removed from the city's ETJs if they are if 2038 is operative, meaning the city can't annex them in the future.
Yeah,
And
I
it is
understand that, but why didn't you just put a signed document in? That's what I'm asking you. Sloppy work?
Your Honor, if I may, I'm
Mr.
looking at,
Messer,
yes, if I
help
may
me.
briefly.
Yes,
I'm
you
looking
may.
at I'm looking at the Dean Ranch Development Agreement with Lido, the city of Lido. It's Exhibit 10A,
Mhm.
and it's signed by the mayor of Lido, attested to by the city secretary on June 23rd, 2022. It's signed by the developer, Levens Capital Partners, its manager, June 17th, 2022, and it has a notary public for the developer. So I think that together with the certification of public records makes it admissible.
Ms.
Your
Collins?
Honor, we're talking about Alito, not Lockhart right now. I mean, we're talking about Lockhart right now, not Alito.
And I don't,
Lockhart is the one with the missing signature.
Okay, but here's the situation. I don't know that we need them all to be perfect, but we sure do need
Right.
them to be perfect, right? So,
I think that answers the issue.
all right, because remember when I'm telling you all, we are going a long way with this, right? So I don't really want to go a long way with this when there's an evidentiary issue that could have been fixed by the trial court. You're wasting my time. You're wasting judicial resources. You're wasting all of this lawyer money with a poor evidentiary record. So if you've got one that's good, that's okay. Also, Ms. Collins is still shaking her head. What's your situation?
Yeah, Your Honor, he's referencing the Alito agreement. Again, there are issues with this agreement in terms of it has not been recorded. There's no proof that it's been recorded. They're claiming multiple assignments that have been binding upon the parties, but they've provided no evidence supporting those assignments. To trace it from the original person who entered into the agreement to who has it today that they claim is now trying to remove it. Additionally, the Alito agreement in particular, even by their own briefing and summary judgment, has a lot of contingencies in it before it is operational or enforceable, and there is no evidence showing that those contingencies have been met.
All right. All right, Mr. Messer, how do you respond to that?
Well, talking about the contingencies, that does not mean that the agreement's not binding and the provisions are relevant and material. So for example, on the first page on the whereas clause, it says annexation of the property is a material consideration of the property under this agreement. It goes on to talk about all the on-site and off-site improvements that are significant for the development, and that they estimate costs for the infrastructure is going to be $41 million. All of those things are relevant, whether the conditions have happened yet or not. To me, doesn't speak to the timing of the issue. If these conditions have not been met, it doesn't mean the development agreement is not in existence, and it does not mean that by the submission of the 2038 removal petition makes it go away, vanishes it. It extinguishes the ETJ, so the agreement counts for nothing, whether the conditions have been met or not.
Yeah. All right. So here's the situation. I'm going to take these under the plea of the jurisdiction and the objections to that evidence that we just discussed. I know there's more. I'm going to take it under advisement. As I said, I'm this close to granting sua sponte a continuance for you all to fix this evidentiary problem, to make sure you've got better evidence in there. Mr. Bullock, you're shaking your head. Let me hear from you, sir.
Your Honor, these are things that could be remedied easily. Well, because we submitted them as certified public records.
You thought that was enough, and it may be enough. I just don't know. And here's the situation. These are really important issues right now. And I know sometimes it just seems okay, like it's just an unsigned but certified public record. The Attorney General has just raised an authenticity concern on you. And that's a big problem for me. So I need you to go through every single thing that she's got and clean it up. We're going to continuance, sua sponte continuance has been granted. You've got some time to clear that up. And I don't want any more problems. You all put your sharpest minds on this thing, Mr. Bullock. They're paying you good money for this, Mr. Messer. You all make sure that all the T's are crossed, all the I's are dotted. Because here's the thing, if you really have been through one of these lawsuits, and I think Mr. Messer has been, from the moment of liftoff into where this is going, you don't want stuff like this causing you problems. You've got to have it right. So go through her objections, try to fix it as best we can, and then come back. Now, here's the situation. Let's look at what that's going to look. I'm on the family docket right now. I know y'all probably wish I'd just go back to family law and leave you alone, but you will eventually become grateful for me, right? I know it's just like we've got to have this right. So I'm going to be out of town in a conference off and on the week of the 12th. It's not a very good week in terms of this court because we're trying to cram in a whole week into just a short amount of time. I'm saying the week of June 17th looks pretty good. Let's see if we can't bring you all in the week of June 17th. And I want all of these evidentiary, you just go through the state's list. Don't argue with the state about stuff, just fix it. Okay? Now, if you can't fix it, right, then you can't fix it. But I guarantee you, you're about to hit a buzzsaw of experience on this stuff. So the fact that the state is up here talking means that they do know something about this. So please, please, Mr. Bullock, Mr. Messer, please take them seriously. Now, we're going to hit a continuance on the plea of the jurisdictional evidence. The state may still take the day on the plea of the jurisdiction ultimately. They may still win, but I am not willing to have this go on an interlocutory appeal to the Third Court of Appeals with these evidentiary issues hanging out there. The issues are too critically important, whether you're the state of Texas or you're the municipalities. These issues are too critically important to turn on an unsigned document. So you all fix them up. We're going to see you the week of the 17th. We'll come back on Zoom. I'll let Mr. Jacob Stokes, Mr. Warren Barbara know right now that we expect you back. Now, Ms. Collins, you have your own deadlines coming up.
I do. And Your Honor, I appreciate you raising it. I'll be just about 38, 39 weeks at that point. I will look for coverage in case it is necessary.
Yeah.
But I understand why this court is granting the continuance. It is something that was included in our plea. So we will make it work.
Yeah. All right.
Obviously, the earlier, the better.
Yeah, let's look back at the calendar. So here we are. We are now here in the week of the 27th. The problem with units of government is this. You ask to get something like this, and all of us now, many of us have worked for them. It doesn't happen immediately. The reason why this stuff is not on there is because it's hard to get. So that's what needs to happen. They can fix the evidentiary record. That's why I think it's a little presumptuous to try to get it done next week. I don't think they can do it.
That's fine, Your Honor. I would also just request that they submit it in time for us to file a response to the evidence.
Yeah, I agree. What do you think? So let me go to the week of the 17th of June. Come on, thing. I'm looking at my calendar now. I'm not actually talking to myself. Yeah, that week of the 10th, I'm out of town. The week of the 17th is what I was anticipated. We could conceivably do the week of the 24th, but then it starts pressing Ms. Collins. Ms. Collins,
Your Honor, would it be feasible for them to file their evidence the week of the 10th with me to file a response prior to a hearing the week of the 17th?
I think so. I think so. Let's do that. Is that okay, Mr. Messer? So,
fine by me.
All right, let's try to get it done then. Now that I'm not going to be here to referee, but off and on I will be. Believe me, I can always appear and cause trouble for you all. So let's see if we can't get that evidence to the state of Texas. What do you say by close of business on that Monday, June 10th, Ms. Collins?
That's amenable to me, but I defer to, I want to make sure council has enough time.
Can we do that, Mr. Bullock?
Your Honor, we will get, everything that can be gathered will be gathered by that date and provided.
You all do it, and they're going to give you they're going to get some guff and some pushback. But the thing is this, I have personally watched these cases over the years and been involved in some of them, not exactly like this, but similar. They have a lot of, they have pretty long legs, let's put it that way. And we just don't really want problems on very minor things. So you all try to fix your evidentiary record. Just look at what the state is saying, whatever they're saying. I guarantee you they've done a kabillion of these to the maybe the 3 you've done. They know what they're doing. So you really need to go in there and get the evidentiary record straight so that when Ms. Collins is, you all are talking, I'm just comparing a nice sound record of state and their arguments versus cities and their arguments, not, yeah, it's an unsigned document. Well, I know, but it's a public record, so that authenticates it. State of Texas saying, no, it doesn't because it's not signed. Well, they might be right. They might be wrong. I don't know, but they aren't saying it. Ms. Collins isn't wasting her breath here at 9 months pregnant if there's not a concern. And I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just telling you from, cold, hard experience where we are right now. This is like a rocket ship. All the fuel, all the food, all the oxygen needs to be packed into it now, because when I issue that order, it's blast off. And if it's not in there, we're going to have trouble. Okay?
Your Honor, so if
Um,
they submit by June 10th, is there a date by which you would like the state to file any response?
Yeah, I do want to get those responses back. We're going to looking at the week of the 17th. Can you all get the states back by that Thursday, Ms. Collins? Is that too?
Would it be possible to have till Friday the 14th?
Let me look at the calendar again.
Thursdays are personally difficult for me.
No, let's not do that. No, we don't want to cause personal difficulties for you, okay? So Thursday's the 13th. You want Friday the 14th?
Yes, please.
Let's do close of business Friday the 14th. Okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yeah, so cities, I want you to clean up that evidence so that you're the best little boys and girls we've ever seen. And I want that filed with the clerk and submit a copy to the court by the close of business, you see, on that 10th of June, which is a Monday. Ms. Collins, I want you, I know you're in a difficult situation, but if you can't step in there, you find someone who can to follow those responses. I just want to make sure that when I'm comparing arguments, I've got state with a good, strong record and cities with a good, strong record. And then we're going to have a go at this case. That's all I want, though. Okay. And you all don't just go, well, Judge Isola just talked about the plea of the jurisdiction. That's all we're going to look all through your evidentiary record, try to fix up every single problem you've got. Okay. And the reason I'm doing that is because I don't know who's right and I don't know who's wrong. As I said, I am reserving judgment on this one. I want to hear all the arguments, but I just want to make sure the record we have is good and clean so that when we get to the Court of Appeals, which we will almost immediately on that interlocutory appeal, that the court isn't struggling to figure out, why did they put an unsigned document in here? Well, is this okay? Will state raise it? It may be that it is okay. I don't know, but I don't want to take the risk on that. Okay. So you all go all through that record. I'm not trying to be hard on you. I'm just being realistic. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Very good. State of Texas, closed business, June 10th. I'm sorry, cities, closed business, June 10th. State of Texas, objections, close of business, Friday, June 14th. We will try to get you all back in for another Zoom hearing. I don't think we need to rehash those arguments on the PTJ. I'm very familiar with it. I'll be even more familiar with it by then. But we will go back to the evidentiary arguments. Then the next thing on our list we're going to launch right into is that abatement. And then we're going to go right into the motions for summary judgment. Okay? And then but please hear what I'm saying, cities. Go all through your evidentiary record. This is your golden opportunity. Make sure everything's okay in the summary judgment too. The thing is, what I'm needing to look for is that there is kind of an injury in fact, that something has occurred. And I got it. You have some cases that say, well, yeah, but it's just the state passed